Hello, and welcome to Book 4, Chapter 3 of You Should Be Reading. This week, I'd like to talk to you about Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. Now, I've never read any Heinlein before. This is my first foray into him, but I know he is widely regarded as one of the sci-fi fathers. I believe it's him, Asimov, Larry Niven, uh, quite possibly as well. What's his face? What's his face? I knew it just a minute ago. Can't remember it. Anyways, I know he's one of the big ones, and I've never read any, so I figured if I'm going to start with one of his most well-known ones, which is Starship Troopers, because they did the whole movie, and it was a cult classic, and there was all kinds of fun stuff around it. Whatever. So I delved into it, and I'm glad I did because it is a good book. It's very good sci-fi. It definitely sort of takes place in a world that's a little bit different than ours. Um, the world that he is basically exploring, the human civilization that he's laying out for you, is kind of what this book is about. It seems like, because you've got this wonderful thing here on the cover. I know this is a re-release, but you've got like a bunch of guys in power armor, and you've got spaceships on an alien planet. There's a war going on against giant bug-like creatures and stuff like that. And the movie definitely puts it forward as being kind of a war movie. And this is kind of a war book. It seems like, but it's not really. I don't think so, because I think it is more an exploration of what Heinlein is laying out, this not quite utopia civilization, but it's a civilization that works. So he lays it all out for you over the course of the book from the eyes of a young man who's rather well off in terms of money. His family is doing well, and he just decides, kind of on a whim, but kind of because his friend is going to do it. So he joins up in the army, and he tries to test into being a pilot, but they basically said, well, you're not qualified to be a pilot. Usually only women are pilots. They're the only ones with the reflexes fast enough. But what he ends up becoming is mobile infantry. And it deals with him going through his basic training, getting sent out to a ship, fighting, and then going to become a career officer and on this big mission. And that's the entire course of the book. And it shows some interesting things along the way because it delves into not only politics, but also crime and punishment, citizenship, because that's a big thing in here. You do your tour in the army. After you're done, you become a citizen and you're able to vote. Only citizens are able to vote. And there's not a lot of citizens. It's not like the entire human population gets to vote when they're old enough. You need to become a citizen to do that. There's a very strong message in this book. It's not exactly blatantly stated, but it is in there for those that want to go and dig around. And it's a message that is, there's definitely a pro-military bent to it, but only so far as the military itself is not being corruptible. Um, there's definitely a very anti-corruption angle in this because they talk all about the past of Earth and how politicians and civil servants and everything would be getting corrupted simply because they'd be bribed and whatnot. And this society has pretty much all but stamped that out. You start becoming corrupt, then it's like, nope, you're done. Um, they even still have hanging as a capital punishment in this. So it's very interesting. I've never quite read a book like this. And I know there's like dozens and dozens of Robert A. Heinlein books out there. A friend of mine has recommended quite a few of them. So I will be checking out some more Heinlein in the future. Not sure what I'm going to check out just yet, but I'll poke around and see what I can find. But it's definitely a very interesting book, Starship Troopers. I would recommend it to anyone who likes sci-fi, anyone who likes even war type things. This isn't exactly a war type novel. There is, lots of war and fighting in it, but it's all very. I don't want to use the word methodical, but because it's not. It doesn't. It's very realistic, I'll say, even though we're talking about sci-fi, because it doesn't glorify war in this. It comes right down to it. Like, there are people that believe that war is kind of glorified, but the army itself is like, no, this is a dirty business. Uh, and it's interesting. Not a lot of books that I've poked my head at when it comes to war do that, and I like it. I like what he's done here. So, if you like some Robert A. Heinlein and you haven't read Starship Troopers, give it a read. If you haven't read any Heinlein and want to check something out, I'd recommend starting with Starship Troopers to give you a good feel of the man and how he writes, because it's pretty cool. So that's going to be it for this episode. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. I usually try and get at least one video out a week, if not more. I seem to be good at averaging out 2 to 3 videos a week, so that's good on me. And throw a comment in the comment section. Have you read any Heinlein? Did you like Starship Troopers? If you have read a bunch of Heinlein, tell me, what do you think I should read next of his? I'd like some advice in that matter. And just a general discussion, because I'd love to talk to some people. So that's going to be it for this episode. And until next week, remember, you should be reading Robert A. Heinlein's Starship Troopers. And I'll see you next time.